Well, hi everybody. I hope you all are enjoying this great day. Um, as I said in a previous video, I was making a bigger puff quilt because my dog stole the little one. I'm going to try to stand up and show it to you because this thing it's not real big, but it's a lap size quilt. This was a lot of fun to make. If you haven't ever made one, I would start small. These are, and that's what it looks like. There's the bottom, and there's the top. I haven't decided if I'm going to put a binding on it or not. I may. When you make a puff quilt, if you decide to make one, I'm going to pause the video real quick so I can sit down. But there's my quilt. I thought I'd show it. And I just think it looks really cool. So, but yeah, I just put it behind me, and yes, I have a lot of strings I have to cut. And I discovered this by accident. It actually feels really good on my back. Puff quilts they're very, very user friendly. They're really easy to make. There's not much to them. The hardest part of them is when you go to put the fiber fill inside those little squares. That's easy on the first row, but then as you do it, go along, it gets harder. And there are various techniques. I've tried them all. There are like 4 different techniques you can use. As to whether one is easier than the other, not really. There's the technique of you make a bunch of the puffs, sew them all together, then you have to put a backing on it. The ones that I use, and for anybody that's never made one, I don't recommend excuse me, going any smaller than you have an outside and then you have an inside. Okay? However you decide to do on your inside square is a 1/2 inch smaller, because when you make these puffs, each side is going to lose a 1/4 of an inch because you're making these little tufts. And I don't know if you could see them, but all the tufts are on all 4 sides, so you're losing that much. So whatever size you make for this outside square, you make the underneath side square a 1/2 inch smaller. So anything less than a 5 inch, it depends on how you do it, because you can also do, like I did my little one that the dog has that he thinks is just his bed. I did that one making individual puffs, and just sewing them together and then put a backing on it afterwards. This one I didn't do the puffs until after I had all of the squares sewed together, and then you make your tufts, and the back and the front was sewed together. And then you when you sew it all together with the back and the front, then you go up here and you just sew up 3. And this is why I said you don't want to really make anything smaller, because you have to be able to get your hand in there to fill the bottom puff. Is that easier than sewing the puffs together and then putting a backing on the whole quilt later? I don't know if it's easier. It is more, I don't know that it even saves time. because it's not so bad doing the first few, but when you get to the bottom or their last rows, this thing is extremely, it's heavy for a quilt because the puffs will pull it, because there's nothing, unlike a regular quilt, it will kind of just sit on a table and kind of, this one is extremely puffy, and it just kind of, and so when you're doing one, you want to make sure that you have a sufficient table on this side, and yes, I got a new table, this side and the back. Or what I did was roll the back. When I got to the very end, I just kind of pinned it, and those little clippy things don't pin so well. And do not ever use regular pins trying to pin puffs together, because they will pull the pins apart. I learned that one hard. But it was a lot of fun to make. I mean, and if there's someone that really wants to learn how to make, I mean, it wouldn't take no time to make a little tiny one, you know, with maybe, 6 puffs on it. And they're fairly easy in terms of something quick. If you can make a pillow out of them, really simple pillow, but they are very, like I said, I have it on my chair. I didn't even realize how comfortable it would be. I don't like sitting on it because it's like sitting on an air cushion type thing. Like some of the semi trucks have air seats. It feels like that when you're sitting on it. It goes up and down. But on my back, it feels really nice. So I may make one that actually fits this chair that goes down, or I just use this one. But like I said, they are quite stiff. They don't, they don't drape like a regular quilt. As you can see, it's on my chair and it doesn't drape. They're quite stiff. They're you can't like you wouldn't be able to, well, you could, but you'd have to hold it or pin it. Hey, that would be a cool coat. With a big cuff or big collar. Hey, that would be a cool coat. Can you imagine having a coat made like, oh, I may do that. The middle of this may come apart. Can you imagine that? Like a poncho or a coat, made a puffy coat like this? That would be cool. I don't know if I want to do that. Or as I was saying on one of the live one of the channels I was on, I used to make these all the time, and it was back in the day when anybody that was sewing anything was making those they were jackets, and the material was a kind of a shiny stuff, and you would fill them with some type of a down. Usually it was goose feathers, and you made this big puffy down coat. Oh, I remember making so many of those, and feathers everywhere. I was like, I am so tired. And then I just quit and never made them again. Now those are fun to make, but they're extremely messy. And then I did one with goose feathers too. I didn't care for the goose feathers because the goose feathers are more, you had to be real careful because goose feathers are a lot more stiff than the other type of feathers. Goose feathers are quite stiff. Like I'd made a few quill pins. Those are fun to make. Goose feathers make great for those, but they're a lot more stiffer than, saying, using chicken feathers or regular feathers like that. I've even done and went and got some fabric that had what they call fake fur. I don't know what it's called now. Anyway, and I cut all the fur off and I filled the coat with this fake fur. It didn't hold up quite as well as I thought it would wait, but it was still made it puffy until it got washed, and then it kind of went flat. But that's what I've been doing. I did the motor blocks. I'm gonna play catch up on what is it? So Becca, and I don't know how I got behind, or I think I just forgot about it until I was watching her news block that came out, and I went, oh my gosh, I am so far behind. I think she's on block 10 now. It's like, oh, I gotta play catch up. But I'm excited to do the remaining of the Moda block, or the Moda blockhead 6. I think there's 4 blocks remaining, and I already know what my blocks are going to look like when they're on the quilt. I just don't have the wall space enough to hang them up. I just don't have it. Not in this room. But as you can see, I got, this was the table that my sewing machine sat on. It's a metal typing table, what it is. And what I did is I covered it with a black marble contact paper. And now it's just there. And what I did was took the TV tray, took a black TV tray that was my original cutting mat, which is now here. And I put this on there, which is just this, because the other side's a cutting mat, and I just put it on there. Oh, perfect small iron. I still have my big iron, but it just, everything was just getting too compact, and I can't handle clutter. I can't, no, it was just too much. It was too much. I have to have everything just, you know, as you can see from my fabric that I have, I want everything folded, all in order, according to color. It's just, I can't do it any other way. Even with my scraps, they're in the drawers here. That's what the big thing is. They're all in the drawers, and they're all lined up according to size, shape, and color. But it's the way I want it. I do have one drawer that is scraps. I call it my pick and not worry about drawer. It's when I want to make just mindless sewing stuff, and there is no rhyme or reason to the scraps in that drawer. They're just, I just open the drawer and pick something and sew it. Pick something and sew it. I just sew it. And it's usually, I'll sew it to maybe a 10-inch block of fabric, whatever color fabric, it doesn't matter. That back of that fabric then becomes the back of whatever I'm sewing. And then there's a way you could sew blocks together without binding them, and most of the time I'll do that. And then when you're done quilting all those pieces on there, you're done, because you've done the top and the back together at the same time. So, but this is a short video. I haven't done a video because my internet was down. It was like for 16 days it was down. Like, I would get maybe 30 minutes a day, and it's because they were replacing all the lines or whatever internet goes through. I'm not up on that stuff anymore. They were turning them all to fiber optics, so our little small town here could finally get G5. So, which is interesting, because then on the, was this about midway through the 17th, all of a sudden my internet was up and it was going, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I am so far behind. So I'm playing catch up on everybody's videos, and because normally I try to comment on the videos I watch, so now it's playing catch up, and then I go, oh, I forgot to make the comment, so I have to go back. And so sorry guys, I'm watching the videos, I just keep forgetting to comment because there's so many of them that I miss out. I guess I didn't realize how many videos I was watching. I guess because it so amazes me the great content of all those millions and millions of channels out there. It's hard to keep up with it, and so without internet I was stuck with just using my cell phone, and that was interesting because somehow I knew the feature was on my cell phone. I just didn't realize if I wasn't careful I would activate it, and everything I was saying was being typed on that little cell phone. And I happened to be in one of the chats and it just started typing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was just lucky it didn't send, because it was, what it was doing was typing everything it could hear. And I don't remember, I was watching a couple of lives and it was typing what they were saying, and then I had to didn't die laughing, but I cracked up laughing because then my black and white cat started making his howling noise, and it recorded that as a sound, and I'm like, what in the world? And it was just hilarious. So I was having fun with my cell phone. Then I had to figure out how to turn it off. It was just, there was a little, because I don't see so well, so I don't like my cell phone. I literally cannot see it. I can't text. I mean, I receive texts, but they're going to sit there because I cannot see them. And there's a deal that will read the text to me, but no, it doesn't read it correctly. The same as when I get a voicemail, there's a readout for the voicemail, and the thing that reads it to you, that is not what the voicemail says at all. So technology in a lot of ways has advanced. In other areas it's like, who is programming this stuff? Because it's not programming right, because it's based on those things that read, or that stuff that makes things read, is also based on if someone talks clear for it to understand. But me, because of all the surgeries in my mouth and stuff, I'm not able to talk correctly, because I can't open my mouth wide enough to talk correctly. So lots and lots and lots of hours practicing talking. Just simple things like using the letter S or T. Those are hard to pronounce when you've had so much surgery on your mouth, and you don't think about it until, so after the surgeries were done, I spent hours sitting in here reading anything I could find, which was hard, and that's the way it is. But so it's, if I'm saying something like to send something, it doesn't always understand what I'm saying, so it'll type something. It's like, I didn't say that, and then it'll type, I didn't say that. It's like, so, but that's what I've been up to. So now I'm just playing catch up with everybody and doing my thing. I'm trying to come up with something good that I would like to do for a live, and I just haven't figured out what I want to do. I don't want to just sit there and talk. I want to do something, whether it's demo something, which is which is what I want to do. I want to be able to demo something live that anybody can do, not just advanced people or those that have been doing crafts for long periods of time. I want to be able to do something that anybody can do, whether they're new to crafting or been doing it for years. And I think I have the perfect idea. I just need to take it from scrapbooking to fabric, and I'm going to have to do a test block to see what changes I have to make, because I've done scrapbooking for years. I just have never done a video on scrapbooking, mostly because I don't know, it's to me scrapbooking is kind of in some ways a little bit boring. There's not much to it. You're just cutting pictures and taping them to paper or gluing them to paper, and then you go on to the next page. There's not, yeah, it does take some thought processes to what you want the page to look at and what you're doing with that particular scrapbooking page, of whether you're making an entire book. Like one of my scrapbooking books is my family genealogy, and it's just me. It's got I just picked a page that represented each person I was going to put in that book. And in the back of the book it has, not all of them, but quite a large percentage of the poetry that I have done, and some I have actually published. Which I don't say much about it, but I do write poetry and I enjoy it, and I have for years. But that's what I've been up to, and I hope everybody has enjoyed their day, and I'm gonna go see who's live and go play on Discord. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. Kill all the noise traffic of the world and go find your happy place. And as Tammy said, Tammy from the Siberian Wind, pet some fabric. Easy. I can pet fabric now behind me. Right, pet it. Well, that's hard to do. That hurts my arm. There, I pet the fabric. I petted it. But I will show you one other thing. Remember, I'm always saying I'm making backs for my quilts. Well, as you can see, this is black. The top half of it isn't black. The back of the top half, wait, that's not the top half. It's on this side. That's what the back looks like. The back is a bordello. I made a bordello to go on the back of this, and so that's what the back looks like. And thus the front, I made just a backing that is a bordello. Basically, this is a puff quilt that is reversible, and of course I got to remove all the strings. The strings are still there, and I would stand up, but I don't think it's a good idea. I kind of so there are things you could do, and I have a string hanging on me. I always have strings hanging on me. I can see the camera. But those are ideas you could do. You could take, sometimes people have tops they don't know what to do with. Make another one and stick them together. Or two quilt tops that are just there, stick them together, and you have a reversible quilt. They don't have to match, because no person is going to be able to see both of those sides at once unless you fold the quilt in half, and then you're still not going to see it unless you fold it goofy to where you can. But it's an idea. And the same with the scraps. Sew them all together. They don't have to make anything. You can just sew a bunch of squares together and make the squares big enough for whatever size quilt you have, or triangles, or little circles, or a bunch of half square triangles. Like I have every size. And what I'm going to do is, I thought about just making a little larger half square triangle, and just using a concept similar to like the log cabin block, but just have all these little tiny half square triangles going around and around and around, and they would just be basically going around and around and around. And when it was said and done, how big can you make a half square triangle that's just, and basically it would just be one go, and then your design would come from the direction that you put your half square triangles. So you could have them be arrows, you could have them be whatever you wanted, and that would be your design, but it would still only be made from half square triangles going around one center square. And whatever that square is made out of, whether it's made out of pinwheels, whether it's made out of a 4-patch, 2 rectangles, 4 squares, a really big half square triangle, or it could be a small one. But again, I will talk to everybody later, and have a good day, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.